Tanzania's parliamentary speaker, Job Ndugai, has resigned, this days after clashing with the president over foreign debt. The speaker said his resignation was a personal and voluntary decision taken in the interests of the nation. But it came after he said that Tanzania was at risk of being auctioned off following President Samia Suluhu Hassan's announcement of a new loan from the International Monetary Fund. Ndugai issued a public apology to President Hassan, which she rejected. She accused him of playing politics and trying to sabotage her ahead of general elections in 2025. For more on this, we're now joined on the line by Neville Meena from the Tanzania Editors Forum. Thank you so much indeed for joining us and welcome to the program. So was this resignation a voluntary one or was the speaker pushed out?
Thank you. I think, yes, on his resignation letter, he just indicated that he just resigned voluntarily. But what I can say, there's a lot of pressure especially from the ruling party, Chama cha Mapinduzi, and outside the party. And remember that when it comes to ideology like CCM, especially when the president, who is the chairperson of the party, she's not happy with whatever is going around, all members tend to support to back her. So actually that's what really happened when the president came out and said that she was not happy with what Ndugai said. That's now it became that all the supporters started putting pressure on Ndugai. And at the end of the day, we saw the statement circulation in the social media that the speaker has resigned. That is very clear that he resigned out of the pressure from his party, CCM.
Before we discuss the merits of what he said, is speaking like that seen as undermining the president?
Yes, it was like that because, apart from being an arm of the a different organization, apart from being the head of screamers of the parliament, but you have to know that the guy himself comes from the ruling party, and when he vied for speaker, for being the head of the National Assembly, he got a consent from CCM. So going out and speak something which seems to be against his president, it was taken as like undermining the president. That was a direct whatever they translate what you said. So there's no way you can be a speaker and from the ruling party and challenge the president directly, especially going out without even having signed kind of consultation. So he was taken as sabotage the president because he comes from the ruling party as the president do.
All right, so he spoke out of turn in terms of party and country protocols, but was what he said completely off base in that can Tanzania actually afford this IMF loan? That's
an economic calculations, but what I can say, what he said was, I can say that they quoted him out of context. And because now, this is 2022, but because our former president died and Mama Samia was vice president, and we have never have a woman president before, there are a lot of politics going around towards 2015. That, is Samia going to vie for president again so that she can finish a second term as Magufuli was maybe but all are for the post from ruling party. So this is all about power struggle towards 2025 election. And Mama Samia mentioned it clearly that what she sees from what the speaker said is a frustration towards 2025 general elections. Yes?
Do you think that President Hassan has entrenched herself and asserted her power? Because she got in by default. The passing of the former president gave her an opportunity, perhaps unexpected. But has she owned the position now, and is she starting to assert herself ahead of this election?
Yeah, yes. You know what? I have thought that we have never had a woman president, and awareness of gender balance in Tanzania is something new. Some people are still believing in masculinity, and women sometimes inferior before men, and whatever sometimes comes from a man leader like Ndugai, it is taken sometimes negatively. That undermine the president only because she's a woman. That's number one. But again, we still have people who are still believing in that on Magufuli's absence, Samia can't afford to do what Magufuli was doing. So in that kind of scenario, we expect this kind of wrangle and power struggle to happen. And it's only we have started. Maybe we expect more leaders to resign or more things to happen before maybe the end of this month.
All right. So I'm not sure how things work in Tanzania, but what should happen is that Parliament is quite separate from the executive, and that Parliament and people like the Speaker, it's their job to hold the executive to account. Is there not a poor precedent being set here where it seems as if party politics are superseding the running of the country, where you have an executive doing its job and the Parliament doing its job, which should be overseeing the executive? And to force the Speaker to resign about something he said about the executive means that the executive perhaps is overreaching a little bit.
We used to have a parliament which is independent during the former Speaker, the late Samuel Sita, from 2005 to 2010. And from there we had another Speaker, Agnes Mamba Makinda. She was a woman, and we can claim that in those 10 years, especially during Kikwete era, we could see the Parliament taking its course as an independent arm. But since Magufuli emerged in power in 2015, things turned around. And you could have seen the Parliament becoming a part of an arm of the executive. So we are still having such kind of ideas, and I can say we are sick of our Parliament is sick of being a part of executive, because whatever the executive do, the Parliament just swallow it as it is, you know. And there's no way you can see the government the Parliament challenge the government, especially when Magufuli was in power. Now, remember that Mama Samia was the deputy president or the vice president of Magufuli. So sometimes it is very hard for her maybe to swallow any criticism from the Parliament, especially taking into consideration that the Speaker and the majority are from the ruling party.
All right. We're going to have to leave it there, Neville. Thank you so much indeed.